Christian values should be recognized as an ethnically white thing. And they were for the majority of Christendom. And they were up to like, even a lot of our grandparents still had the understanding that, well, niggers have a version of Christianity, but it's not real Christianity, because real Christianity is a white thing. It was just implicitly white. But we're at a point where we can't just relegate things to being implicit. We have to be explicit. We have to be in your face about this. We have to be honest. We don't have to be like offensive. Anything we're going to say is going to be treated as offensive. As soon as you say it's okay to be white, it's taken up to level 10. It's cranked up to 11, man. You are a racist KKK Nazi as soon as you say that white people deserve to exist. That's all you need to say, and you are thrown under the bus, a social pariah. So I really don't see why Christians don't defend Christianity against niggers. I mean, that should be a very obvious, straightforward thing. Yeah, no allowed. You can't do that. It's like, Jews would never accept a white person as like an actual Jew. Oh, you can convert over here, and as long as you pay your shekels to the temple, it's fine. But they'll never accept you as that. A white person could never convert to Japanese Shintoism. I mean, no one would take you seriously. A white person could never convert to Islam and be taken seriously. I guess unless, I don't know. I actually don't know enough about about radical Wahhabism. I mean, it is very implicitly racial, but for as much as whites cuck out and try and hand everything over to the Muslims are not accepting all of these white concessions that we're giving. We have to defend ourselves, and that's the only way we're going to get any respect. So the surgeon who decapitated his friend, doesn't sound like a very friendly thing to do, said he did it for the Lord. So the prosecutor said that the wounds suggested the mutilation had been carried out with some skill. Well, he is a surgeon after all. Mufasa, the son of a Sudanese diplomat, told psychiatrist Dr. Dinesh Mangina that he was part of the Extraordinary League of Gentlemen, which Mr. Youssef was also a member of. Yeah, this is just crazy. He's just crazy talk, man. Mufasa believed Mr. Youssef was a rival in his quest to solve clues which would lead to treasure such as debit cards, cars, and money. Yeah, when I think of like the great treasure out there in the world, I'm not thinking of hidden gemstones and piles of gold. I'm thinking of debit cards and cars. I guess like cool cars might be a thing, but that's not like legendary treasure. I guess because don't have a very strong cognitive capability, that's something that's very immediate, that's very in their face. Oh, they can relate to debit cards, they can relate to cool cars, but they can't relate to a hidden treasure chest that's full of these ancient crown jewels or something like that. So that idea of going on a legendary quest is a white thing. There's not going to be any more treasure in the world once whites go extinct. It's just going to be debit cards and ghetto cars with the rims, yo. Get them spinners. Mufasa's wife, Caroline. Oh, God, that sounds like a white name. I can only imagine it's fucking Colburn, who he referred to as the queen. Do you know the way? She is the queen. She ran the league. She ran the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. My wife, Caroline. He saw Mr. Youssef as the Phantom, a supernatural being who had to be killed to save the world. Dr. Mangina told the court that in his opinion, the defendant was insane at the time of the killing. Again, you should have recognized some warning signs going on there. You shouldn't have let it get to this point if you were serious about trying to prevent this. I kind of wonder what other weird shit was, if this guy really was crazy, if he's not just making shit up on the spot to try and get out of jail time. Okay, so where did he go? Was he put in a crazy house? It doesn't say anything like that. But this guy should not be out and about on the street. He should he should take a long walk off of a short pier. But I'm kind of interested in what was the other clues that he was solving with this little game of his. I would actually like to hear about some kind of, I don't know, like a police serial story, but from the perspective of a crazy guy who's not really doing it. Like, okay, here's a stupid weeaboo anime reference. that is for my one audience member that listens. So, you know how in Stein's Gate, how Hoen Kyoma kind of plays along as like a mad scientist, and he does it it's a very lighthearted way. I mean, he acts so full of himself, but he does it with the best intentions. So instead of being a mad scientist, think that you're like a private eye, but instead of doing it with the best intentions to like make other people happy, that you're doing it with the worst selfish intentions of, I'm going to have all of the debit cards and all of the cars so that I'm going to, I don't know why I'm doing that accent, it's so stupid. But so that you're going to be the most ballinest baller if you're able to solve this series of trails. Who left these chicken bones behind? I don't know. I mean, there probably aren't any details because he's just making this shit up to avoid going to jail. And I don't know why he's mentioned as a surgeon. I mean, I would not want this guy operating on me. And someone who's, if he's actually in this sort of mental state, or even if he's not crazy, but he's still willing to lie to this degree, he should not be allowed to be a medical practitioner. He is a liability. Well, all are a liability to proper society. But this is another example that relates back to an article that I read in the first episode about third world doctors being just absolute shit. Even the best and brightest of the third world are still fucking shit that ruin society and decapitate people. But at least since he's a surgeon, he can do it with some skill.